are live on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, and we're live on 104.1 FM and 1120 AM and the Odyssey app, and anywhere you can find KMOX radio. We're everywhere is basically what I'm telling you. And we cover all sports. The only guest I guess we don't have right now is something from St. Louis City SC. Would that be right, Drew? We'll kind of lock that in as we go along. Lutz Fantasy was such a great weekly guest for us.
It's awesome.
I know they're in transition there, both coach and sporting director. So we'll be watching them closely. They lost last night to LAFC 3-0. But joining us, he is a fixture. Whenever there is a big story in golf, we go straight to him. We're going to talk baseball, college football, hockey, racing, and of course, lots and lots of stuff coming for the Cardinals next week, including a John Mozeliak press conference at noon on Monday that we'll carry live, Chaim Bloom Tuesday morning at 10 that we'll carry live. Right now, we're carrying live Dan Reardon, our senior golf editor. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Tom. I'm celebrating the fact that I chose not to exercise my credential and be in New York.
What the heck is going on up there? Let me start with this, and then I'll let you go, because I witnessed it, and so did you. At Bethpage in 2019 at the PGA Championship, I walked inside the ropes with Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka, of all people, and followed them around. They were actually playing against each other, and they weren't on the final day, and not in the same foursome. DJ was trying to catch Koepka, if I recall, but they were receiving all kinds of heckling from the crowd. Two American players, mind you. I mean, at one point, somebody yelled out, "Paulina, where's Paulina?" to DJ, and he stopped in the middle of his swing and before he addressed the ball and said, "Can you please stop?" And Koepka, of course, was getting heckled because people don't like Koepka. American players. Now you have Europeans who are dominating the United States in the Ryder Cup. I knew it was going to be rough on them, Dan. I did not think it would get that ugly as it did yesterday.
Joel Beal from Golf Digest spent 9 holes with Rory yesterday, detailing the abuse that he was getting from the crowd. This was not heckling. This was not cheering. This was vile behavior with language that is never going to be repeated anywhere on the air. And sadly, 8 years ago, I directly warned Rory of this circumstance. You know that I've talked on the air that I spent 2 days on the course at Hazeltine with Rory. I apologized to his fiance on Saturday. After the U.S. won at Hazeltine in the European press conference, I apologized in that conference to Rory as an American, and I said, "This is going to get worse. What can we do about it?" And Rory said, "These people have been out on the course from 8 in the morning drinking until late in the afternoon. These kinds of things are happening." This was not drinking. This was just vile, unprecedented behavior, not just in golf, but anywhere in sports.
It's unbelievable. And what did they say? Of course, we're not going to repeat it, as Dan said, but I'll tell you, there were homophobic slurs. There was, of course, jokes about Shane Lowry's weight, which seems very light compared to what Rory received. There were chants that started with F, directed directly at Rory. I mean, do people understand that Rory McIlroy, who just won the Masters and was universally applauded by everyone in America, and who spends a lot of his time living in the United States in Jupiter, Florida, likes America? I just don't get it. What in the world are people thinking?
Well, in addition to that, in his pre-tournament press conference, Rory raved about how privileged he felt to be living in the U.S., that he always wanted to visit this country and never realized what a great country it is and how fortunate we are to live in this country. But that doesn't change the fact that, they turned 50,000 people loose on Long Island. And, I didn't want to be in New York because I didn't want to be around New Yorkers on the golf course, Tom. You saw a small sample size in 2019, and it's going to get worse unless they come up with a solution. And I can't tell you what that solution is.
It's stupid. It really is, to show up at a golf course and think that you're going to, I don't even know what to compare it to. I really don't. I mean, you think about the ugliest, toughest, roughest, craziest sports out there. They're not like that. And this is golf, for crying out loud. And anyway, the golf has been absolutely dominated by the Europeans. Hats off to them for playing under, not only under those circumstances, for just flat out playing great from the get-go on Friday morning, Dan.
And without question, and give them all the correct credit they deserve. They've done everything they were supposed to do and more than that. But I need to remind everybody that unlike any other sport, golf is played against the golf course. And what alarmed me, and then I realized what the issue was, is the Americans did not play good golf. If you saw any of the golf on Friday, not only do the Europeans perform, the Americans underperformed. And that's not the first time. It's actually the second time. The exact same thing played out in Rome 2 years ago. And, I think I know the reason for that now, Tom. I think I have the answer. And they have a structural problem they're not going to be able to solve. Paul McGinley talked on the air that the Europeans were really well prepared over the last 2 years. No, they were really well prepared over the last 4 weeks. The last 4 weeks is when the Tour Championship took place, and the Americans made a token appearance at Napa, and they played in basically a spring training game, and they were not prepared to tee off on day one of the Ryder Cup. The Europeans, in the meantime, played in the Irish Open, one of the biggest Open championships on the DP Tour, and the following week they played in the BMW PGA Championship, one of the biggest tournaments on the European Tour, and Rory won that with a magnificent eagle on the final hole to get into a playoff and win it. They came in sharp form. They were ready to play golf. The Americans were ready, they thought, but you can't get ready without playing competitively. And that's the way it's locked in, because the PGA Tour's final event is the last weekend in August. The Ryder Cup is the last weekend in September, and you can't fill that interval with competition for the Americans. And you're going to see the same thing in Ireland 2 years from now, and you're going to see the same thing at Hazeltine 4 years from now, unless they figure out a way to get those Americans sharp. We saw Scotty Scheffler cut his hand at the beginning of the year and didn't find form until after the Masters. And they expect these players to shut it down in August and show up on the first day. They played better yesterday than they did on Friday. They played the course better than they did on Friday. And they'll play better today. Don't expect the Europeans to win 70% of the matches today, go out and win 9 of the 12 matches. Gradually, the U.S. will come back a little bit to form. But this is a structural problem, and they've got big problems going forward.
Back to the Ryder Cup and the decorum there, the atmosphere there. Final thing for Dan is that I'm not sure that we ever get a Ryder Cup. I would never say never. We're going to have the President's Cup here in 2030. We've had the Ryder Cup here in 1971 at Old Orson Country Club back when the United States played Great Britain, and Lee Trevino and Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer, just part of that U.S. team that won back in 1971. But Belle Reve has held its fair share of events. We're going to have the BMW Championship next year. The PGA Championship, Tiger Woods raved about the galleries and how they treated everyone as boisterous as they were. I have to anticipate that some good showings are coming here. I just would never see a St. Louis crowd doing that.
I think what we saw is, and I'm sorry to say, I think what we saw is more New York than it is Ryder Cup. Mm-hmm. And I think that literally the Irish will be revved up at Adair, and the Minnesotans will be revved up at Hazeltine. But I don't think, I think the next big problem they face is that the U.S. Open goes to Shinnecock, and you might get traces of that once again on Long Island.
Be well, my friend. Always great to hear your analysis, and glad you're at home and not at Bethpage in that circus.
Both of us are like that, Tom. Thank you very much. Enjoyed it.
Take care. Dan Reardon with us on KMOX. We'll take a break. You talk about great crowds. That was not the case at the Ryder Cup, but it was the case across college football. What fun was that yesterday? Unbelievable. We'll be talking all about it. Plus, Wrigley Field, what happened there yesterday with Ollie Marmol. We're going to get into that a little bit, but a lot of college football coming up next on KMOX.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me, makes me cry.
Now that you've heard it, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking. Guaranteed early bird specials $49.99. That's right, weight loss seminar, Saturday, October 18th at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration at 1:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
For your best vision, visit the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. They're the doctors' doctors. And what that means is more than 250 doctors trust their eyes to the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranja Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. So you should trust your eyes to them as well. Doctors Birdie and Malhotra are also cornea surgeons. They're experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye, dry eye, allergy eyes, cataracts, macular degeneration, glaucoma, and yes, they do LASIK surgery as well. So do it today. Make an appointment with the doctors' doctors, the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, and protect your sight. Call them at 314-966-5000. That's 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com. You can find Ophthalmology Associates at 12990 Manchester Road, just a half mile west of 270 on eastbound Manchester. youridoc.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. That's right, weight loss seminar at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now, promo code RADIO.
Today, the Cards, the Cubs, Ackerman Total Access 125, Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. We'll be joined by Josh Schertz, the head coach of the Billikens, at 10:30. We'll talk some Blues at 10:45. NFL picks 11:05, 11:15. Tony Schumacher, NHRA driver. John Mozeliak, his final appearance on Sports on a Sunday morning at 11:30. Bernie Miklasz at 11:45. Right now, we're diving into college football, and it was some day yesterday. And the college football scene, let's start with Illinois, with a tremendous amount of weight on his shoulders, needing to win a game at home and just get that feeling away of getting shellacked the weekend before at Indiana 63-10. And Illinois comes through. They end up opening up a 24-10 lead on none other than USC. The Trojans come into Champaign for an 11 a.m. kickoff, and Fox has their big show there. Everybody's hyping up the game. It's a matchup of number 23 Illinois and number 21 Southern Cal. Illinois, as I mentioned, has that lead of 24-10, but the Trojans score a touchdown in the third quarter. They end up taking the lead in the fourth quarter. But to Luke Altmaier's credit, after fumbling the ball, not Altmaier, but Illinois fumbled the ball into the end zone that led to that USC game-leading score, Illinois comes back, drives down the field, and wins the ball game on a 41-yard field goal as time expires. 34-32, Illinois beats USC. That is a big win for Brett Bielema, just to relax, take a breath, and understand that there's a lot of football left to go. Now they have to go to Purdue, and then they have Ohio State coming on October 11th. October 11th is going to be a huge day for a lot of people. We'll get to it. Let's go to the next one. That's Missouri winning 42-6 over UMass. That was an expected easy win for them. They pulled away and won this game handily, 42-6. Big thing there is getting out of that healthy. The other thing is people are starting to buzz about Missouri as a possible college football playoff team coming out of the SEC, but they won't be taken seriously until after this Alabama game. Alabama looks like the real deal. They went into Georgia and they won a huge game yesterday, 24-21 in Athens. Kirby Smart is 1-7. 1-7 against Alabama. How? I have no idea. And Kalen DeBoer, he's 7-1 against top 10 teams, by the way. Let's not forget that. But a terrific job by Alabama going in and winning a big game. And now that game at Missouri is a monster for Mizzou. If they can pull that off on October 11th, an 11 a.m. kick at Faurot Field, they will be in a very good position. If not, SEC pundits probably won't take them seriously, say that once again they're back as being a middle-of-the-pack SEC team. But if they can knock off Alabama, hand them their second loss, now you're talking. But Missouri's really good. They're 5-0, and they shouldn't worry about any of that. Block the noise out. Just continue to do what they do and build a great program. Top 25 college football. The number one game of the day was definitely in Happy Valley. Penn State was down by 2 touchdowns, came back and rallied against Oregon, the number 6 team in the nation. But once again, James Franklin and the number 3 Penn State Nittany Lions fall short against a top 10 team. They fall by a final of 30-24 in double overtime. Franklin has a 4-21 record against top 10 teams, and that's what hangs on him, even though he's built a great program. I'm already hearing people calling into national radio shows saying, when are they going to replace James Franklin? What, are you kidding me? The guy's got the number 3 team in the country. They're nationally semifinalists last year. They just lost to Oregon, who never loses in the regular season. So let's all just calm down and let the season play out. Oregon beat Penn State 30-24. More so, it's a great win for Oregon. Great win for Oregon. They're now undefeated. They await Indiana. Indiana won at Iowa 20-15. They're undefeated. Both of them have a week off next week, October 11th. Indiana at Oregon. In the SEC, Ole Miss beat LSU 24-19. Fourth-ranked Tigers take their first loss. Ole Miss is going to move well into the top 10 after that. And the SEC is just wild right now with LSU and Georgia both losing yesterday. In fact, numbers 3, 4, and 5 in the country all lost. The number 2 team, Miami, had the weekend off. Number 1, Ohio State, used defense to beat Washington 24-6. Couple of teams to watch out for now. Watch out for Iowa State. No one's talking about them. They're undefeated. They're ranked 14th in the country. They win 39-14. Iowa State goes to Cincinnati and then Colorado, 2 big road wins that they could try to pick up before they come back home and wrap up October against BYU. But Iowa State's looking pretty good. And the other team is Notre Dame. Everyone probably wrote them off. They were 0-2. Now they're 2-2. And I mean, they absolutely annihilated Arkansas 56-13. If they run the table, they'll be considered a college football playoff team, but not until then, I don't think. Some other teams that won, Texas A&M and Vanderbilt out of the SEC. Tennessee won at Mississippi State. It's a really nice win for them. The aforementioned BYU team won at Colorado. So top 25, ACC getting some attention with Georgia Tech clipping Wake Forest in overtime 30-29. It's been a crazy year already in college football. Locally also, Lindenwood went into Oxford, Ohio, lost to the Red Hawks by a final of 38-0. Joining us for a few minutes to recap that is the head coach of the Lindenwood Lions, Jed Stugart. Coach, it's always great to have you on KMOX. Sorry under the circumstances. I know that was a tough one to take, I'm sure, to go on the road and fall to Miami of Ohio.
Hey, Tom, good to be on with you. Yeah, just, we knew we kind of had a tough task going in there and actually was really pleased with a lot of things in our game, just taking on an FBS opponent. And we knew we were going into play a tough football team and very stingy defense. I got to give Coach Martin a lot of credit. Their defense is very, very good. We kind of knew that going into it, and we had a lot of chances. We basically, went to halftime. They blocked the punt on us, but as far as offense defense goes, we was really 10-0 at half if you take away the block punt, and so we were sitting in a pretty good position, but we just couldn't get any first downs. That's what you got to do and keep your defense off the field. But as far as efforts go, in about 2.5 quarters, I just felt like I saw a team that competed and can be really good if we just, but we got to you just can't make those kind of mistakes, and you can't not get first downs against an opponent like that. But,
yeah.
A lot to learn from, and we're excited because we start conference play, and it's been a journey here this first 4 weeks. There's no doubt.
I'm sure. I mean, you lost your first 2 games, but that Appalachian State game was a really tough one, a great one, but a tough loss. And then you win back-to-back games, including the home game against Stony Brook. And then Miami of Ohio, obviously frustrated after dropped snap, then they end up losing to a good UNLV team when they had them by the throat and just could not beat them. And then, of course, they take it out on Saturday. But again, you're competing and getting at this D1 level and getting after it. Building a program is the goal here. Tennessee Martin is the game for you this coming Saturday, a 1:00 kick. What can we expect there at Hunter Stadium?
Well, I'll tell you what, they had a great win yesterday against SEMO, and our history against UT Martin is our first year. It's basically coming into the OVC. They beat us there. In fact, I don't know, schedule wise, we went to their place back to back. So this will be the first time for them coming to Lindenwood, which we're excited about. Had a great battle last year. We lost in overtime. Last game of the year, our guys battled hard, and so I think our guys are going to see, being conference, a conference game at home. First time UT Martin's been here. They're a really well coached team. They're a physical team. They got great athletes, and it's going to be a battle. And I think. Like I said, I think it'll be an opportunity for us to look at our game yesterday, and we'll spend a lot of time Monday showing our guys that, the kind of 2 parts of the game. I mean, when we were, our defense really played hard. I think the points don't really show it. You kind of take away a special teams block field goal for a touchdown, and and then of course late in the game, we're trying to use this as an opportunity to get some young guys in and get some experience and put them in those situations. And, but for the first half, if we play like we did in the first half of this game yesterday, I think, I feel really good about it. But our guys just got to know it's going to be a battle, and this is their opportunity. We're 1-0 in conference right now, so we're sitting in a good situation conference-wise, and that'll be a great test.
I hear that. The score doesn't always tell the story. You're working to build depth and experience within your program. And now Tennessee Martin on Saturday, 1:00 kick. Looks like the weather's very favorable. Sunny and 80 is the forecast that I have for this Saturday. So, man, some perfect tailgating weather for the Lindenwood fans and for the St. Charles community. And we love featuring our only D1 football program in St. Louis on KMOX as often as we can. Coach Stugart, good luck this Saturday against Tennessee Martin.
Thanks, Tom. Great being on with you this morning.
Great to be with you. It's 10:29. When we come back, we're going to be joined by the head coach of the St. Louis Billikens. Josh Schertz is along with us on KMOX. Then we talk Blues hockey, NFL, NHRA, Cardinals, and much more on Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX.
KMOX Weekend at your service, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
With you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, focusing on the Siteman Kids program at St. Louis Children's Hospital and Dr. Mohammed Abdul-Baki.
We have a large global program that people do not know about, thinking this is St. Louis in the center of the country, and we get consulted on a large number of international consults.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
And Swope brings it back. Swope with Robbie. Steps into a three. Bang! Robbie Avila!
I like how Robbie just kind of ambles down. You're not paying attention to him, but he's ready, and they hit him for that trail three.
It won't be long. You'll be entertained by those voices. Bob Ramsey, Earl Austin Jr., Billiken Hall of Famers. College basketball is coming soon as the Billikens just wrapped up Billiken Madness on Friday night at Chaffetz Arena. And joining us is the head coach of the Billikens, Josh Schertz, is back on KMOX. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you. Glad to have be back on. It means basketball season's around the corner.
I love that sound of the call, of the squeak of the shoes, of the crowd. It's a good time. I'll bet Billiken Madness was fun. I couldn't be there. I was emceeing a charity event for the Dravet Syndrome Foundation on Friday night. In fact, that was back-to-back charity events for me. It's that time of year. I wish I could have been in two places at once, but I heard it was fun. I heard the team put on a nice show.
Yeah, I think it was a good night. Ultimately we treated it like I don't like to waste days this time of year. So we treated it like an inter-squad scrimmage with referees, and we went up and down. We played, I think, 30 minutes, which is a good amount, and tried a lot of different lineup combinations. We're still working through. We've got a deep and versatile team, and trying to figure out exactly, what are our best ways to play, who plays well with who, those type of things. But it was a good night. We had a great crowd. Thought fans really showed out and were loud, and created a nice environment for the guys. It was a good opportunity.
Let me come out of this with that highlight there that we just heard from Robbie and start there. Nice to get out of a scrimmage and relatively healthy. Are you healthy throughout the roster after that?
Yeah, I think we're pretty healthy. I mean, we got, Cam Hudson's dinged up with a shoulder. We expect him back, maybe late this week, maybe next week, the week after, something like that. Probably the next 7 to 10 days. And then, we got a couple little things. I mean, I think, Amari Kalu a little nicked up, but nothing significant. We're pretty full speed ahead. Knock on wood, been pretty healthy this summer and this fall. And, certainly we're going to try to take advantage of that. And hopefully we got about 5 weeks. I think tomorrow is 5 weeks from the opener. So, try to keep healthy but keep getting better, keep, getting on the court and working to improve. And we got a lot of areas to grow in before we tip off against SEMO and then moving forward.
You had a great night out of Amari McCautry, I understand. He is a fun player to watch. He's got that size. I feel like he can play multiple positions.
Yeah, Amari is just, versatile, kind of a Swiss Army knife. And when he's, Amari's one of those guys when he's locked in and focused, he's really, really hard to handle. 6'6", and, as physical as he is, even though he's only a sophomore, he's arguably plays with the most physicality and force on the offensive end of any team, can get his shoulders by, attack the rim. He's really developed the ability to make good passes, find his teammates. Thought he was, he was really good. He had a great night. I thought, it was one of those nights where, a lot of different guys, did things that you walk out of there, whether it was Amari, Deion Brown, I think had 16 and 10, Kellen 16 and 7, Brady had 5 threes and 19. So you have a lot of guys and really the guys who have been probably our leading scorers, Trey and Robbie didn't have big nights. So it just shows the depth of the team. And that's something that I think, we've seen throughout the summer and the fall here is, we have a lot of really good players and we have a lot of ways to play, and that's going to make it, it's a really good problem to have, but it's certainly challenging for us.
Yeah, Billiken fans who follow you on a daily basis know those names, Deion Brown, Brady Dunlap, the names that you've been mentioning, but they are newcomers. So let's break them down a little bit. The Brady is from St. John's. He is a shooter. How many did he knock down? He had 5, I hear?
Yeah, I think he was 5 for 8 from 3 at 19 points. And, is a guy, 6'7", 6'8", great size in the perimeter, can really stroke the basketball, high IQ, knows how to play, terrific passer, elite shooter. Somebody we expect to, he's playing 17 minutes a game at St. John's before for the first 10 games, went down with an injury, 10 games in, got a redshirt year for last year. But he's a guy that, has a chance to have a really big year for us. We think a lot of Brady. He's a high IQ player, brings that on both ends of the floor, and has an elite skill in terms of shooting and understands who he is.
Deion Brown, I hear, is basically the leader. He's the one who gathers everybody and does everything to win a game for you.
Yeah, Deion's unique. He reminds me, last year's team, we didn't necessarily have that one guy that brought, that competitive fire. We had a lot of competitive guys, don't get me wrong. Robbie's uber competitive, Gibson, Jimerson, Isaiah Swope. But there wasn't a guy who just, lit a fire every single day. We didn't have that Draymond Green, that Jimmy Butler, that a lot of good teams have. Indiana State, that was Xavier Bledson for us. I think Deion's in that same mold in terms of, how competitive he is. He's not an analytic player. It's hard to quantify what he does. But every time he's out there, he touches winning. We chart going back to June, offensive and defensive efficiency, plus minus ratings, points per shot, stuff that fans don't care about. But he ranks towards the top when you look at his ability, how we play when he's on the court, his impact, and how the team plays. And off the court, he's a guy that has a dramatic impact. And that night, 16 points, 10 rebounds, gets it done. He's very unorthodox, but can really defend, really competes, brings a competitive motor and fire. You need to walk into places like Dayton, like VCU, and win games. You got to have guys that have that. And he brings a toughness and a physicality that this team really needed.
And when you go to places like that, we always joke in basketball circles, who's the first guy off the bus? That guy's Paul Otieno. That guy's put together. And you get it. You make him the first guy to set foot in the opposing arena. And you always have to watch for him, don't you? Because he can throw one down, and he's very productive on the boards.
Really is. Paul's great. I wish we could clone him and coach about 25 of those guys. He's unbelievable player, great young man, completely committed to winning. Invest in it. Does a lot of things that, the visible stuff the fans will notice. And then he does a lot of invisible things that probably, go unnoticed by most, just his ability to rim run and put pressure on the rim and how that opens the floor up for guys like, our guys who get downhill, guys like Quentin and Kellen and Amari and Trey Green and, Deion Brown. We got a lot of guys who can really drive the basketball. His speed is something that opens up, lanes for our guys. He does a great job on the glass, as you said. Another guy that, brings a level of physicality and toughness that we were lacking last year. I mean, look, there's no other way around it. We had to get more physical. We had to get more athletic. We feel like we did, but he's a big part of that. He's a guy that I expect to have he's different than Robbie, but he can play with Robbie. His ability to guard in the perimeter. He can play as a standalone 5, without Robbie. You can switch him. He's block shots. Does a lot to touch the game and impact winning on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, he takes a little off the shoulders, although he'll be aggressive. Kalu Anya, who did a lot of that banging around inside. Boy, is it nice to have Otieno in there. And then another newcomer is Ishan Sharma, who is basically he's bombs away too. I mean, you got some shooters.
Yeah, I think, I'd put, Eshawn Brady and Trey Green in that, elite category of shooters. I think all three of those guys would be there. We had two of them last year in Gibb and Isaiah, and Robbie certainly for his size, would be in that mix as well. But those three guys, their ability to shoot with range. Eshawn's got such a quick release. He shoots off movement. Like Brady, just such a good fit for us, knows how to play, quick trigger. He's got good size. Brady's 6'8", Ish is 6'6", but they understand how to play, high IQ, cerebral, understand who they are, do what they do well, have the ability to make the right decisions. They're good decision makers with the ball. They don't turn the ball over. So, and defensively, they're solid, individually, and they really grasp team concepts. So Eshawn's a guy we expect to have a really big year for us. And again, gives us, our I don't know, last year's team, obviously, we were really top heavy shooting wise, when you look at the numbers. But we have a number of guys that can do that and get ourselves to where we have, close to, 100. I think guys that Eshawn's a guy, Trey, also Brady, that'll be in that ballpark, to have the ability that could make 100 threes potentially.
Case in point, you had all those threes go down, and Trey did not have one, and neither did Robbie. You mentioned earlier that those two had a slower day offensively. Was there any reason for that, or is that just the way it fell?
Just the way it fell. They just, sometimes, the way that, the day before, Trey and Robbie were terrific. So, we practiced Thursday before we played Friday, and both those guys were fantastic. Rob didn't miss a shot, and Trey's been our leading scorer in both the summer and the fall so far, and has had some really good days, has shot it consistently in the mid 40s from three. And so I think it's just kind of the day and the way the day fell, but I don't read, you can't read too much, obviously the fans see the one day. So, it's how it goes over time and what guys do over time. But both those guys are, really, really high level offensive players. Trey's got a little, they're different, but a little bit of Isaiah Swope into him, undersized, but can really, can score the ball, shoots it with range, can shoot off the dribble, can facilitate and play make. But I think, the difference this year for us is just we talk about the collective shooting. I think the collective ability to drive the basketball is far greater too, and I think we got more guys that can play make. So it doesn't, that burden last year really fell on Isaiah, Robbie to kind of carry the load in terms of playmaking, and obviously Gibb and Robbie and Isaiah had a huge burden in terms of scoring and shooting the basketball. So I think it's going to be more well distributed, and there'll be nights like that, where Robbie maybe or Trey. That's the joy of having, I think, so much depth. Is they don't have to, like, I think maybe it was somebody pointed out, I can't remember who it was, that we had, I think 8 or 9 guys make threes, and Trey and Robbie didn't make a single one between them. Mm-hmm. So, when you look at that, in that scenario, to have 8 or 9 guys make threes and those two not make one, that bodes well for, like we were talking about, the collective playmaking, collective shooting that we have.
Sure does. You have a good distributor in Quentin Jones. And finally, the last person I wanted to ask you about is the one that a lot of people ask me about, is Kellen Thames. That mystery of what happened last year, and you've held on to him because I think he's your type of player. What do you think about Thames?
Yeah, he's had a really good summer, really good fall. Another guy like Dion is hard to, it's hard to quantify the analytics, but Kellen's plus minus is the highest on the team. We thought about going into the summer, trying to, as we went through, we kind of ruled out scary stuff. Then it was more like, this electrolyte balance and trying to figure out exactly how to manage, what he's dealing with. And certainly, so far so good. He's been able to do everything. When he does get tired, he pulls himself out. I think this team's depth's going to allow him to play in bursts and be really effective in bursts, and then, rest when he needs to rest. But I think that'd be the case for every single player. I think with this team, we're going to have to play differently probably than I've ever played, in terms of being able to pick up and pressure full court and play even faster than we have. Last year, we played the slowest we played in my career. In terms of offensively, this year, I think we may play the fastest, and the same thing defensively, because we certainly have a group that we can cycle guys in and out without much drop off. And I think that we can probably get into the legs of our opponent. So Kellen's a big piece of that. He's terrific. He does things just like last year. I mean, he's a great fit for us systematically. He's a terrific cutter. He's a great driver. Gets downhill, puts great pressure on the rim. He can offensive rebound. He's as good an athlete as there is, in the league in terms of the wing position. So we missed him, dearly. Really had him for 4 games last year, and then things kind of went off the rails there for him. But, in the 4 games, I think you guys saw, I think he was right around 15 points and 7.5 rebounds a game, 4 games in. And, we think he has a chance to have a major, major impact and be a big piece of this team. And I think this team, the depth and the way we're going to play will suit him very, very well.
Josh Schertz is with us. Final thing for you, Coach. You've got a non-conference that starts in the regular season in the first half of November against Southeast Missouri, Chicago State, Lindenwood, Grand Canyon, all at Schertz Arena. You go on the road for the Acrisure Invitational. You stay out there for Loyola Marymount in LA. You've got those other games, a lot of them at Schertz in the non-conference, 5 straight. And then New Year's Eve. How about that to open the A10 schedule? New Year's Eve against St. Joseph's at Schertz Arena. And off you go. VCU, your second A10 game on the road. You'll get after it right away.
Yeah, no, the schedule sets up nicely. We have some really good games at home. I think underratedly good. Obviously, 10 of our 13 non-conference games are here. Start with 5 at home. We'll play SEMO, who's picked to win the Ohio Valley. We get Chicago State, Lindenwood, Grand Canyon. Be a top 75 and NCAA tournament team for the last 5 years. IPFW, who will be picked to win the Horizon. They come in November 21st, and as you said, head out to California, get 2 great neutral games, MTE, Santa Clara, and either Minnesota, Stanford, stay out there for LMU, and then come back home in Central Michigan. We got San Francisco, which will be a really good team. I think, an NCAA tournament team as well. So a lot of challenges. And then, as you said, right in the league play, December 31st, home, New Year's Eve game. I think it'll be an afternoon game against St. Joe's. Be a great way to start A10 play. And then, as you said, right into it. We get a bye right after that, and then at VCU, at LaSalle. So we'll be thrown right in the fire. But that's the way it is. The A10, every game is incredibly challenging. It's going through the league once. I was, really impressed with, how good it is, how talented it is, how deep it is. Every night, is an incredible. The parity actually hurts us in come NCAA tournament time, but inside the league, it's a gauntlet, and you got to be on your best to have a chance to win every single night. And so I know our guys are excited, and hopefully our fans are excited to get to see us. 10 non-conference games at home, the 9 conference games, so 19 games inside of Shape. It should be a really fun team, and hope to get our fans out and rolling starting on November 3rd against SEMO.
We can't wait to have Rammer and Earl on the call here on KMOX. I'll be back on the TV side this year, and if you want to be caught up with Josh Schertz, we'll be trying to get him as often as we can on these Sundays at 10:30 in the morning. Coach, thanks so much for the visit. Great info today.
Appreciate you always, Tom. Look forward to seeing you soon, and appreciate it. We'll see you here in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir. There is Josh Schertz, the head coach of the St. Louis Billikens on KMOX. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, get into some Blues hockey from the Stiefel Sports Studio.
This is Megan Lynch. 250 doctors go to Ophthalmology Associates. That's why I trust them. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. This is your last chance to live in a brand new home at The Preserve, located at Mackenzie and Watson Roads. We have 5 outstanding homes ready for move-in at amazing prices and special financing as low as 4.75%. Choose from ranch or 1.5-story homes backing to woods. Our luxurious Turnberry display is now for sale. Also, get up to $10,000 in free closing costs. Isn't it time to move up to McKelvey?
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, to Enterprise Center December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. And right now, Trans-Siberian Orchestra is offering their lowest ticket price in years, starting at $55 including fees, only for a limited time. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Fall is here. Baseball, beautiful weather, and the changing colors of trees and shrubs. When you think of your trees, call family-owned Gamma Tree Experts. Fall is a great time to prune and fertilize your valuable trees. Our staff of certified arborists will survey your trees to determine their needs. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Call Gamma Tree Experts at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-390-1164. 800-390-1164. 800-390-1164.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Well, the Blues played last night at Enterprise Center, first home game of the exhibition season. They lost to the Blackhawks 4-2. Blues actually had a 2-0 lead after 2 periods and gave up 4 goals in the third period, including an empty netter that ended up making it a 4-2 game. Dalibor Dvorsky with the goal in the first period. Braden Shen had a goal in the second period, and then the bottom fell out for the Blues as they lose to the Blackhawks 4-2. Of course, it's preseason. You're working on a lot of things. You're keeping an eye on how everybody looks coming out of a very brief training camp session as that continues. Meantime, the Blues also made news yesterday in signing Cam Fowler to a contract extension. 3 years, $18.3 million. Fowler had a really good year last year. The defenseman who came over from the Anaheim Ducks was solid for them. He gets, again, 3 years, 18.3, so that's 6.1 per season. He has a no-trade clause, and here he is speaking to the media after the game last night. Cam Fowler.
It's a point to talk about how you enjoyed it here from the time you got here. Happy to get this done.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I mean, I can't say enough about the guys in the locker room and management and everybody here and how they've welcomed me and my family, the fans, and all the support that we've had. So I appreciate the support from management to get this done. And, you know, as a player here, I'm really excited for the next few years and being a part of this team. So very grateful.
Yeah, what made you want to do it and stay for another 3 years? Like, what kind of comfort did you feel here?
I mean, it's a combination of everything. It's this team. It's the guys that we have in the locker room, the coaching staff with Monty and Webby and Otter. Like, I come to the rink and I'm excited to be here. I'm happy to be a part of this team, and the connection that the team has with the city too is something that is special to me. And and my family and my boys, you know, we're just very comfortable here. So from my perspective, it really wasn't a hard decision. And like I said, I'm grateful that they see an opportunity here for me, and that's something that means a lot to me as a player.
Sounds like you're buying the next dinner.
It does sound that way. Yeah. No problem. I'll be happy to do that.
And Doug said that it was important maybe get this done before the season. Was that kind of important to you too, just not to have, you know, maybe that hanging over while you're playing, I guess?
Yeah, you know, I think if it's a situation that works for both sides, for me, in training camp, you know, having the discussions that we had, I think it would be nice to have something done heading into the season, but it doesn't always work out that way. So that's why I'm happy and thankful for Army and Steiner and the guys involved that we were able to do something here relatively quick. And, you know, the whole process was very respectful on both sides and went very smoothly. So I haven't, you know, really played in my career where I was coming up as a UFA. So knowing that I wanted to be here and the team saw a future for me. I think it was just something that worked out on both sides.
Cam Fowler, Blues defenseman, 3 years, $18.3 million extension. He would have been a free agent, unrestricted free agent at the end of this season. So the Blues get him locked up. He was good. 51 games with the Blues last season, 9 goals, 36 points. Good defenseman, really nice player. And he's probably going to be with Colton Parayko as the top defensive pairing. So there's one of your top defensemen right there. Cam Fowler has re-signed with the Blues, and talking about it after the game last night. Coming up next hour, we have our NFL picks. That will happen at 11:05. At 11:15, we'll hear from just the winningest driver in NHRA history, Tony Schumacher, who's about to step into his vehicle over at Worldwide Technology Raceway, Top Fuel Dragster, going after it at the Napa Auto Parts NHRA Midwest Nationals, the final of what is 3 major events at Worldwide Technology Raceway in the course of the year. They go IndyCar, NASCAR Cup, and NHRA. So we'll hear from Schumacher at 11:30. John Mozeliak, his final appearance on Sports on a Sunday Morning, and Bernie Miklasz. I'm going to ask Bernie about Ollie intentionally walking Michael Busch and having the Wrigley Field fans booing him and down on him, and what he thinks about Ollie's move there. That's coming up. This is KMOX.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Get ready, cause here they come.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's Beatlemania all over again with the Fab Four, the ultimate tribute to the Beatles. Entertainment Tonight says seeing the Fab Four is just like seeing the Beatles.
Hey Jude.
The Fab Four takes you through the 60s with the music that changed our lives.
Yesterday.
It's a show you won't want to miss.
Saturday, October 4th at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
Herman's Hermits, starring Peter Noon.
Something tells me I'm into something good.
And the Lovin' Spoonful.
Do you believe in magic?
Saturday, October 25th at the Family Arena with the Hollies' greatest hits, starring Terry Sylvester. Get tickets now at the Carroll House Furniture box office, located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Herman's Hermits, starring Peter Noon and the Lovin' Spoonful.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Peter King, and we have breaking news out of Michigan, where there's been a shooting at a Mormon church in Grand Blanc, about 50 miles north of Detroit. Police say the church is on fire, that the shooter is, quote, down, no longer a threat. That's all we know right now. Stay right here for more on this developing story throughout the day. The church shooting comes just hours after another mass shooting in Southport, North Carolina. This is Brunswick County DA John David.
The thin veneer of peace and tranquility which has enveloped this idyllic waterfront community was shattered last night by gunfire that came from the water. When the dust settled, 8 people were shot, 3 of them are dead, and at least 1 is now clinging for their life.
Investigators say the shooting was highly premeditated. The accused gunman has been arrested. President Trump and congressional leaders meet tomorrow to try and avoid a government shutdown. Here's CBS's Robert Costa.
A shutdown looks likely at this point, based on my conversation this morning with President Trump. He says both sides are at a stalemate. Democrats want to extend health care subsidies that were part of the Affordable Care Act, but President Trump said his focus on health care is on preventing undocumented migrants from having access to any of the U.S. healthcare system. Now, it's illegal for any non-citizen to have that sort of access, but President Trump says we're not going to have it, quote, we're not going to allow it.
Democrats have said the indictment of the former FBI director is just an example of President Trump trying to get even with enemies. Vice President Vance tells Fox News not so.
We're not letting politics drive this. We're letting the requirements of the justice system and the law drive this. And unfortunately for James Comey, when I look at this indictment, I see a guy who lied under oath. And he'll have his day in court. He'll have his opportunity to prove the other case in front of the jury.
Comey faces charges of obstruction and lying to Congress. A new poll finds a majority of Israelis support President Trump's plan to end the war in Gaza. CBS's Linda Gradstein has more from Jerusalem.
The poll found that more than half of Israelis support Trump's plan, just 17% oppose it, and 30% remain undecided. The plan calls for the release of all remaining 48 hostages in Gaza, both alive and dead, within 48 hours of the deal's signing in exchange for a gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces. President Trump is set to meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington Monday to discuss the plan.
Major League Baseball's last regular season day begins in about 3 hours with 2 American League division titles and the last National League wild card race still undecided. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 11:03, sunny and 78 downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning, I'm Scott Jagow. Top story this hour, a big moment today for Missouri government.
This is about clarity for voters and ownership of our future. And with the Missouri First map, we can deliver.
That's what Governor Mike Kehoe said in late August before calling a legislature into special session to approve a congressional redistricting map in September. Kehoe plans to sign the bill containing the map into law in a ceremony without media present. President Trump called on Republican-leaning states like Missouri to see if they could approve new U.S. House maps where the GOP might earn more seats in the House. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Retired St. Louis radio disc jockey Randy Raley spent the last several months, campaigning for a central Illinois congressional seat.
I'm running for Congress in the 15th District of Illinois because the person who is supposed to be serving you is not.
But yesterday, the Democrat from Highland said he's abandoning his bid to unseat Republican Mary Miller due to a health scare. Raley said he recently suffered a heart attack, and after consulting with doctors and family, he feels it's best to step away. Striking machinists at 3 St. Louis area Boeing plants say a federal mediator is coming in tomorrow to talk with negotiating teams. Members of the union have been walking picket lines since early August. They're asking for better pay and a better work-life balance. Well, she was a class of 1958 grad of Sumner High School in St. Louis, but the late Tina Turner was born in Tennessee.
What's love
Love for Tina Turner has everything to do with this. The Grammy-winning singer of songs such as Proud Mary, We Don't Need Another Hero, and What's Love Got to Do With It was honored Saturday in the Tennessee town of Brownsville, where she grew up, with a 10-foot statue to the Queen of Rock and Roll. The statue shows Turner with her signature wild hairstyle holding a mic. Tina Turner died May 2023 at age 83. I'm Donna Warder.
KMOX AccuWeather for today will be very warm with plenty of sunshine, a high of 88. Clear low 61 for tonight. Tomorrow staying very warm with more sunshine, up to 89. Tuesday, sunny to partly cloudy, still on the warm side, a high of 87. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Bill Dacre on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thanks, Bill. Right now it's 79 in St. Peter's, 82 in Florissant. We have 78 downtown. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
From KMOX Sports, this is the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
It is time to do some NFL picks. And welcome back to the show, everybody. Before we do NFL picks, I want to go down. We've got a lot of comments coming in. KT is putting on quite a display here. He's upset about Ollie's move yesterday. As you see all these comments coming in, said he would have removed him from the dugout. He says the rebuild starts in the smug manager's office ASAP. Hates the Cubs with a passion as a Cardinals fan, but he did not like what Ollie did yesterday, called it a punk move. Just want to make sure I get all your comments in there, KT. I'm going to hold that thought for our conversation because I don't want to jump or steal the thunder from Bernie Miklasz. So Bernie's going to join me at 11:45 to talk about that very thing. Good morning to Josh. Good morning to Brandon. Always great to see our comments coming in on YouTube. YouTube's getting a lot of action. That one's from Facebook, from Brandon. And Joe on YouTube is looking forward to the Bloom area, as am I. We're going to hear from Chaim Bloom on Tuesday at 10 a.m. We're going to carry that live on KMOX. Tomorrow at noon, we're going to carry John Mozeliak's press conference live. He will join us on this show at 11:30 this morning, but he does a press conference, his last one, tomorrow. At Busch Stadium. Mel says, good morning. Good morning, Mel. It's always great to hear from our guests. And now it's time for our NFL picks.
And a key block by the left guard, Tom Ackerman. And right here, let's go downstairs to Moss.
Marv, if you remember that big run Robert Holcomb had on the first drive, one of the guys responsible on help busting him loose was Tom Ackerman.
Tom Ackerman up front, and this is a unit that has played very well. A good night for Eddie George. 21 carries, 74 yards. The left guard, Tom Ackerman, with the block that set him free. It's a first down.
I wish I was that good. Tom Ackerman, former center in the National Football League, selected by the Saints in the 5th round of the 96 draft out of Eastern Washington. Played for the Saints, but on that call on Monday Night Football, assembled by our former KMOX producer, Lisa Herman, he was playing for the Tennessee Titans, played for them for 2 seasons. After a brief time with the Oakland Raiders, then he called it a career in 2003. Tom Ackerman, born September 6, 1972. So he is 3 years older than me. Someday we will meet. Maybe we should put him on this and pick. I just thought of it. We should pick against each other in the NFL picks.
He's a hard guy to find. I'll tell you that.
Really? Have you tried?
Yes.
I'll find him. Minnesota leads. No, they don't. They just scored a touchdown, but Pittsburgh leads Minnesota 24-12 in the fourth quarter, just scoring the Vikings in Ireland, trailing 24-12. Steelers have been dominant in this one. That game is already underway. If you didn't know that, if you didn't set your fantasy lineup, there was a game this morning that is just wrapping up in Ireland. Here we go. I am 22-22 against the spread so far this season, 50% against the spread. So we have broken even exactly. Let's see if we can gain some ground here in week 4. Washington at Atlanta. The Commanders playing without Jaden Daniels, playing without Terry McLaurin. and they are 3-point dogs. 2.5 is the last that I saw. 2.5 points at Atlanta. That's tough. I think the Falcons are going to win this game, and I think they can win it by more than 2.5. I'm going to take them. I like this Washington team a ton. I really, really, really do. And Atlanta was disappointing to say the least last week, getting shut out at Carolina 30-0. If they're not ferocious in this game, all out, then there's a problem. There's a bye next week. They need to come out flying today. Falcons -2.5 against Washington. New Orleans at Buffalo. I've told you over and over, New Orleans is a bad football team. They got beat badly by Seattle last week, and I think they're going to get their rear ends handed to them again by Buffalo. What's the spread? It's 14 points. Buffalo -14. Cleveland at Detroit. The Browns picking up a key win last week against the Green Bay Packers that find themselves 10-point dogs at the juggernaut that is the Detroit Lions. It's a big number, yes, but I'm going to take it. Detroit -10 at home against Cleveland. Carolina at New England. The Patriots -5 in this game. Carolina coming off that 30-0 win. I'll ride that a little bit longer. I'll go Carolina +5, keeping that close. Chargers at the Giants. Giants are going with Jackson Dart at quarterback this afternoon instead of Russell Wilson. Jim Harbaugh's Chargers come in to MetLife Stadium, a 6-point favorite on the road. They're 3-0. They've beaten the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Broncos. Pretty good start. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take them -6 at the Giants. We have Philadelphia at Tampa Bay, a pair of 3-0 teams. The Bucs are good. They figure out ways to win games, but the Eagles are excellent. And Philadelphia -3.5 today. They're going to come in and get the job done today. I like them -3.5. I hate that half, but I'm going to do it anyway. Philadelphia -3.5 at Tampa Bay. Tennessee at Houston, a pair of 0-3 teams. I would normally call this a who cares game, but we do care because you may have something on the line here. 7-point spread, Tennessee at Houston. The Texans have had a weird season. They're 0-3, but they've lost all 3 games by 1 possession. 5 points, 1 point, 7 points. I like them today against the Titans, obviously. Am I willing to give the Titans 7 to take that? I am going to do that. I'm going to go Houston -7. Houston -7. We have, what else do we have? Indianapolis at the Rams. Oh, the Colts, they're flying right now. They're 3-0. Rams are good. I will give them that. Gave the Eagles all they could handle. It came down to a blocked field goal, return for a touchdown to beat them. Poor Rams. I like the Colts +3.5 on the road. I do. I like this Colts team a lot. Jacksonville at San Francisco. San Francisco just finds ways to win. I don't know how they do it, but they do it all the time. Now they have Brock Purdy back. They're 3-point favorites against the Jaguars, who love to throw the ball around. Problem is, San Francisco's got a great secondary, great pass defense, and they have Brock Purdy back, and they're going to win this game. Jacksonville's going to go all the way across the country and lose. San Francisco -3 today. I love that one, actually. Baltimore at Kansas City. Here we go. This is the game of the day. Both teams 1-2. Both teams desperate to win this football game. None more desperate than the Kansas City Chiefs. They just took care of business against the Giants. They need this one in the worst way. They cannot go 1-3, nor can they go 1-3 knowing that they just lost it at Arrowhead. They are going to win this game today, and they are, ready for it, underdogs. They are a 2.5-point dog today. Give me Chiefs +2.5. I just pounded the table on that. Pound it. Chicago at Vegas. Ooh, Bears with a great win. Great win. How are they underdogs at Vegas? Maybe I'm getting too wrapped up in this, but the Bears look really, really good. Won't they have like half the stadium I mean, aren't all Bears fans going to Vegas? Haven't they been partying all weekend? If you're a Bears fan, how did you not go to Vegas this weekend? That is 100% what you should do. Bears +2 in this game at Vegas. They'll win that. Green Bay at Dallas. I just don't like this Cowboys team. Have I ever liked the Cowboys in my life? But the Cowboys defense is atrocious. I just raved about the Bears, but man, the Cowboys defense, woof, Swiss cheese. Packers -6.5 at Dallas. I think they can handle that. I think they can win by a touchdown there, come back, bounce back from their loss to Cleveland. And I'm going to go Green Bay -6.5 at Dallas. Jets at Miami, two horrendous football teams. Jets are a 2.5-point dog on the road. Another who cares game, but we care because we gotta help you out here. Oof. Ugh. Just so ugly. I'm going to go Jets. That was a heartbreaker for them. Dolphins will be motivated, I'm certain. They've lost 3. They just got their rear ends handed to them by Buffalo. They had a little extra time to prepare for this, but I don't care. I'll go Jets +2.5 and just kind of hope that they can get it done. As you can tell, I don't love that game. It's a Monday night game. The other Monday night game is Cincinnati at Denver. Now, this is intriguing. The Bengals are playing without Joe Burrow. They've got to figure out a way to stay afloat until he comes back eventually from his injury. But I'm going to ride. I'm going to go Broncos bouncing back here. Something was wrong with them in their last game. The last 2 games, actually. Just not able to close the deal against the Colts and Chargers. I feel like they need to make a statement here for themselves more than anything. I hate the half point, but I'm going to do it anyway. Denver -7.5, the final Monday night game against the Bengals. And there you go. Those are your picks for week 4. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. Tony Schumacher, NHRA Midwest Nationals are today at Worldwide Technology Raceway. The winningest driver ever joins us next.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan along with Dr. Colleen Bosler and Dr. Adam Voss of the Audiology Center. When was the last time you really enjoyed a conversation without straining to hear?
Charlie, so many people think hearing aids just make things louder.
But that's old technology. Today's hearing aids do so much more.
Exactly. With the dual chip technology, our hearing aids actually separate the speech from the background noise.
Which means at a noisy restaurant, you'll hear your friends and family, not the clinking dishes.
And the best part, your brain doesn't have to work overtime trying to fill in the blanks.
So that keeps your mind sharp, your conversations easy, and your relationships stronger.
Because hearing well isn't just about sound, it's about staying connected.
Thanks, Doctor. Call the Audiology Center today to schedule your annual hearing evaluation. Don't miss another moment. Call 636-441-7470 or visit the Audiology Center STL.com.
Hey, this is Debbie Monterey, and some of you may know that I moved my mother to St. Louis about a year ago because she's aging and I needed to help her with day-to-day things, including getting her estate planning together. I recently met with the folks at Jansky Law. Martin Yansky is an elder law attorney, and that's exactly what he does. Everything from your power of attorney to advanced estate planning, including probate. Maybe you have your estate documents completed, but a nursing home could be in the future for you or a loved one. Yansky Law can help with pre-crisis and nursing home planning as well. Martin Yansky has 30 years of experience, young or old, no matter what your age. If you love your family and want to make sure that your wishes happen or help them ensure theirs do, call Yansky Law at 314-881-6141 or online at yanskylaw.com. That's with a J, Jansky law.com. Again, Jansky law.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products or compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. It is the Napa Auto Parts NHRA Midwest Nationals. Worldwide Technology Raceway, Madison, Illinois, St. Louis. We are just 5 minutes from the arch, and we are ready for what is a tremendous event. In fact, this was the first event that came back to the track when Curtis Francois purchased it in 2011. And joining us is only the winningest driver in the history of NHRA, Tony Schumacher, is with us on KMOX.
It's good to be here, and I got to tell you, this is the track that I won't say made me the winningest, but made me the number I'm at, because this is the last time we won, right? And I have impatiently been waiting to get back here because it was one of those races where it just wasn't easy. It was very difficult, people we had to get through, and we ended up getting there and getting the trophy, and it was number 88, incredibly lucky number, and unfortunately, I don't want to stay there. I'd like to go to 89 this weekend.
That's right. There have been some drivers who have had success here. Antron Brown's had success here. You have had success here. What is it about St. Louis, just in general, the experience that you like?
You know, I like when it's a difficult race, and I think he does too. You know, both of us, if you were to ask some of the top 5 drivers, I think Antron's right there. So when you have those races where you get in the middle of the summer, you're getting near the end, you got to have power. You got to be able to pedal a car when it smokes the tires. And I think to be a champ at this, when you get into this part, you're in the countdown. The pressure's really high. The cars have to perform. The drivers have to step up. You know, there's a handful of people that can win at those races. So, and I think me and Antron really like the pressure. You know, so when you get near the end of the year like this, and the big moments come up, and it's like it's a must-win type thing, we just do good.
There's a lot of talent out there, isn't there?
It's stupid right now.
Not just the drivers, but the teams. I mean, there's a lot at stake, and there's a lot going on out there.
You know, for a long time, I mean, we won 6 championships in a row, and everyone was fighting for number 2, and it was just the way it was. It was understood. John Force was doing the same thing. Everyone was battling for a second spot. Right now, you have no idea who's going to win. There's 10 people that can win at any given day at any of the races. I think it's the drivers have found homes. The crew chiefs have found homes, and there used to be silly season. Everyone rotated and switched. It's not like that right now, man. People have settled in. They found their teams. They found their homes. And the more experience you get with a crew chief and a driver and a team, the better the team gets, the higher the performance gets. But, you know, truthfully, like I said on stage last week, we are athletes, but we're also entertainers. And I think the fans that pay good money to get to a race, whatever sport they go to, I want them to leave and say, you know what, we paid this much, but I feel like we owe more. And I think that's what they're getting in the top fuel field right now. The races are insane. They're so close, decided by thousandths of a second. I think last year we won by, I don't know, a couple inches. two cars going 330 to 340 miles per hour, and we win by a couple inches. So at the end of the day, when the fans leave, I think they get a great show, and I think this is one of the tracks. It's a beautiful facility. It's the only one, I think, on tour where you get to see IndyCar, you get to see NASCAR, then you get to see the real cars, drag racing. No, nothing personal. I mean, it's all cool. I'm not, I don't care. I like everything. I like everything. But if we talk about speed, we're talking about 340 miles per hour. And if we're talking about 340 miles per hour, we're talking about Brittany Force. She is doing amazing. We're all chasing after those speeds. But you know what? Like she says, it's the ET. It's the elapsed time. There's a big difference. The speed is only calculated in the last 66 feet. So you can have a car that runs a really good elapsed time, and that's what wins those races, but it doesn't have the speed. You can run good speed without having the elapsed time. So, but fastest by far, top fuel, funny car, greatest sport in the world.
It's mind-blowing how fast you go. And then also the fans get accessibility. I mean, you all are available to them. Like they can go down and see everything pretty much, can't they?
Absolutely. And I think there's a couple of things. The fans that were there last weekend, some people had literally people that go out because I drive for Rick Weir. So he's got a NASCAR. Cody, his son, drives. And people that are out there trying to pull marketing dollars together. They've never been to a drag race before, and you bring them out and they go, this is insane. You get to walk in, stand by the driver. This is unheard of. But then they say, you also go in the stands and feel like you're in the car. So it's really one of those sports where you are all in as a fan. Like you get to feel the earth rotate. You get to feel like you're sitting in that car. You really feel like you're part of the team. And then you go meet your driver and you pick the ones you like and the ones you don't like that don't come out of the trailer or that sit in their shell. And you get to pick on, this guy, I don't like this guy. I like this guy. And, and then you get to watch them race each other and you can boo the ones you want to boo and cheer for the ones you want to cheer for. That's awesome. I love it, man, because, I like when they're booing the other guy.
You're wearing your Rick Ware Racing shirt, American Communications Construction Racing. Clay Milliken's part of that, right?
Yeah, he is. Great teammate. Like when I started in Top Fuel, I drove for the Peak Brothers, but it was shortly after that my father put a team together and there was one car. We drove Exide batteries. It was one car. And a few years later, we picked up the Army. We had a 2-car team, and then Bazemore came over and drove, and then all of a sudden we had 8 cars, a few pro stock cars, a couple of bikes. We had a huge team. This is real unique. It's me and one other Top Fuel car, and I've never been able to work like that before, but it is awesome. I mean, Clay's a good guy. He's like the fan favorite ever. Like I pull for him if he's racing me. It's like he just is. He's just got the smile all the time, and I think it's how it should be. We should love what we do. I mean, we're in a dangerous sport. We're going 340 miles per hour. If you don't love this, you picked the wrong job because, you got to be committed to this. And he's the winningest IHRA driver. I'm the winningest NHRA driver. So as a team, it's such a cool package. And believe it or not, it's the first time I've ever been able to walk over and just flat out have a conversation. What would you do in this situation? And he's honest. And if he asked me, I'd do the same thing. So that's the teamwork. And it's going to pay off. We're brand new. We're still trying to figure it all out. But when it all comes together, it's going to be a world champ team.
That's exciting. It's like a new chapter.
For sure. For me, it is.
I wanted to ask you a technical question, too, before we go. With temperatures rising this week, it's going to be beautiful weather. I mean, it's phenomenal weather, but you'll be no secret running in the 80s. You do that all the time in that temperature. What is the difference in terms of preparation temperature-wise?
Sure. So 12,000 horsepower cars, we use a 6-disc clutch, and it has to slip that clutch the whole way, right? So the hotter it is, the more UV, the more sun on the track, the more you got to slip it down there. Just like if you were driving a stick shift on ice, you got to let that clutch out slower, and that's the same thing we're doing, but we're doing it with a 6-disc clutch. And I think the conditions are going to be what's unique here is we're running tomorrow night, so 6 o'clock and I think 8 or 9 at night. You're going to see some incredible runs. And then we come out in the morning and we're going to run at, noon on Saturday, something like that. So, which is very similar to what we're going to race on. And I've always said, like, it's great to have those night runs because they're the ones that will qualify you number one, set the world records, do all the great stuff for the fans. But it's not when we race, and we need to have the data on race day. So I think looking at the weather, we've been much hotter. We raced in Charlotte, we raced in Richmond, and it was like, I don't know, 12 or 13 degrees hotter than the sun, if I remember. It was brutal. The cars would barely start. They don't like to run in that stuff. We get in the 80 degrees, 70 degrees, like we're going to see great runs, depending on the UV, depending on the sun and the track really. But for the fans coming out, trust me on this. This is a perfect weekend for racing. Get out there, get a ticket, make sure you get by. I will be out signing. And I'll go hermit myself in the trailer. So you want to get an autograph, bring your friends and family out, bring your kids out. We'll make sure they have a great day.
Tony Schumacher with us on KMOX. It'll be a lot of fun. The Napa Auto Parts NHRA Midwest Nationals, the 26th to the 28th at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Have a great run, great weekend.
Thank you.
We'll be back right after this.
At Tax Relief Advocates, we get it. Thinking about back taxes to the IRS can be very unsettling. Don't lose hope. With thousands of 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, TRA is resolving taxpayers' delinquent tax problems nationwide once and for all. We could significantly reduce and even eliminate what you owe the IRS. If you haven't filed your taxes in years or are already facing collections, we can help. We aren't just some run-of-the-mill tax service company. We specialize in helping individuals and businesses with $10,000, $50,000, or even $500,000 in back taxes get speedy resolution. And in many cases, only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. The IRS isn't going anywhere, and neither is your tax problem. To see what tax relief you qualify for, visit TRA.com or call 800-335-8578. 800-335-8578. Again, that's 800-335-8578. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KMOX Weekend at your service, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
For residential and commercial heating repairs, service, maintenance, or installation, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. With over 50 years of HVAC service, get in your comfort zone this winter. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Now, back to the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back. And for the final time on Sports on a Sunday morning, at least for now, we are visiting with the Cardinals president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak. Who knows in the future our visits, but as far as our regular 11:30s, this is our last one, Mo. It's great to be with you as always.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I imagine you think back to how many times we've done this Sunday show. It's been a lot of fun and clearly really grateful for the friendship and the time we've spent together.
Well, same here. And we've had a lot of great talks. I've always looked at this as not a press conference, an interview, yes, but also a conversation, an opportunity to have you give your side and explain what's going on, but also be an information source for us. It doesn't get more official than having you tell things about what's going on KMOX, but I'd say more so your professionalism. I'm sure you were annoyed with some of my questions at times. I'm sure you're annoyed.
Never.
I'm sure that there were some things that were not comfortable to talk about, but criticism comes your way at the top and the spokesperson for the organization. That's part of the job. I've always felt like you handled that with professionalism and class.
Well, thank you. I definitely appreciate that. I think the one beauty of KMOX and its reach to the fans, it's something that you have to do. It's part of the job, and giving them a little bit of a peek behind the curtain is something that I think is helpful. And, sometimes they don't like what I have to say, but at least I hope I've been transparent and honest with our fan base through the years.
That you have, and thank you for that. Our only hope is that Chaim Bloom can continue to carry that on Sports at a Sunday morning like you and Walt Jocketty before you. I know that Chaim, do I have this right, that you, and the way Bill DeWitt told it in the winter warm-up was that You had looked at Heim and you reached out to him, and he said, that's really something, because I was going to mention the same thing, that both of you had your eyes on Heim Bloom a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think that's right. I had definitely spoken to him just to get his interest after his Boston situation. And once I did that, the main focus at the time, that wasn't necessarily to be my successor, but was to just get a look under the hood of our player development. And so, he agreed to do that. And I think, obviously, the success he had with that, it also led to now being my successor.
And he will address the media on Tuesday morning. You are going to do it for the final time tomorrow. What do you anticipate that being like? What do you plan to talk about tomorrow?
Still sort of thinking through that, but really it's just about gratitude and just thanking the people I've had to work with over the years. Obviously, these typically are about the future of what the organization is going to do, but I'm not going to have to deal with that tomorrow. So it's really going to be more of a look back and a thank you.
And looking back at this past Sunday, you and I talked right before you threw out the first pitch. I knew that was going to be a strike. The former batting practice pitcher, John Mozeliak, you fired that one right down the middle to your son, Will. What was that experience like?
It was super cool to have him be a part of it. I obviously, when you're in this type of job, the time away from home is large, and to have my whole family there, my wife Julie, my daughter Allie, and then Will, it was really special.
You're a family man. What do you plan on doing here in the near future?
Short term, I just got to break my routines, right? Because I've been doing the same thing for close to 30 years, and I just have to reprogram myself to have a different ebb and flow of a day. So I think I'll probably travel a little bit, but I'll still be around St. Louis from time to time. But I definitely won't, from a media standpoint, want to become more invisible.
Sure. Understood. I mean, it's been part of your job for a long, long time, 30 years in the organization, 18 in the position that you were in, from general manager to president of baseball operations. And with that comes a lot of memories. I would assume that if I asked you for number one, you're going to say 2011, winning a world championship, not to mention something I think you were very proud of, which was organization of the year for the first time.
Yeah, I think back to I think when you reflect on the job itself, meaning like when you work for a baseball team or any professional team, ultimately your goal is to be a part of a championship. And so obviously in 2006 we won one, 2011 we won one, and those are things I'll never forget and you're super proud of. But it's also about just the ability to maintain a successful model for so long and to have so many wins over that period. And especially if you were to do it, wins per dollar, I wouldn't be surprised if we were number one in that time period. So you take a lot of pride in that. Obviously, you mentioned organization of the year 2 years in a row. That's just a great compliment to your scouting and your player development. And those are really just amazing times. And hopefully the organization can get back there.
And John Mozeliak won multiple Executive of the Year awards as well. And I feel like a lot of teams tried to replicate what you were doing, tried to follow what you were doing. It is a business where, as you said, it's hard to stay on top. I wonder, in the baseball climate today, as we ebb and flow through different waves of baseball, how St. Louis matches up here, just in general, how you see the game today and the Cardinals' place in it, how they can succeed at their level. We talked about this a little bit last week, but for those who weren't able to chime in.
I think the most important thing right now is sort of the difference in economics than it was 15, 20 years ago. And you're starting to see a big dispersion in the haves and have-nots. And so, we were always a small market team that was able to compete almost as a large market because of our TV deal, because of our attendance. And so from a revenue standpoint, we were able to punch above our weight. I think what you're seeing happen, though, now is these are becoming more challenging. after the TV bubble has burst, attendance in St. Louis has dropped. And so, these are opportunities now for the next leadership group to come in and hopefully find ways to leverage those situations and get us back to where we once were. But the one difference is from low revenue teams to high revenue, I think it's a growing spread in that from the haves and have-nots from 15, 20 years ago.
Do you believe, from your observations watching them work, that the Cardinals are in a good place with this leadership group, not to mention ownership group?
Yeah, I think a couple things. One is I do think like our minor league system is stronger than maybe we're getting credit for. I think our international department has been producing more, and you'll see that in the next few years. So I think under Moy, we've seen some success there. And then obviously Randy Flores running the draft. So I think there's like a lot of just, underneath things that are positive. And so Cardinals fans should feel good about that. And then with regard to leadership, I certainly hope this group can take it to the next level. And, I certainly wish them the very best.
And finally, John, you've been surrounded by many people in your career. You've had a lot of people to go around and thank, and people have come around to thank you. And I'm sure they've come out of nowhere. The people you haven't heard from in a while, so many people that have come into your life. But I would go out to say that number one is your wife, Julie, who I understand you will be attending the game with today.
Yeah, she's up there with me. She wanted to be at the final game, which I thought was really cool. And yeah, of course, like you think about like the support of family in these types of jobs. I mean, without a great wife, it's hard to raise great kids. And she was amazing through it all. And, she's seen a lot. She's been amazing for me. And I think like he and I are actually looking forward to sort of that next chapter. But in the meantime, we're going to enjoy today, get through tomorrow, and then take a deep breath.
One chapter ends, another one begins for John Mozeliak. Again, thank you for all the visits here on Sunday. Very meaningful to our radio station, our partnership, and we appreciate you very much.
All right, Tommy, thank you, and I wish you the best.
You as well. John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations. Final game today at Wrigley Field, and a pleasure to have him through all these years on the show. We look forward to our visits in the future with Chaim Bloom and his leadership group. We will take a timeout. When we come back, Bernie Miklasz will be with us. We have a lot to go over with Bernie. We'll take him up until noon. Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stifel Sports Studio.
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, to Enterprise Center December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefit Sightman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. And right now, Trans-Siberian Orchestra is offering their lowest ticket price in years, starting at $55, including fees, only for a limited time. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
We know you're uncertain about psychics. Is this fortune teller you found on a forum legit?
Your one true love is...
me! That's why California Psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Get insights on the go. Download the California Psychics app today.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Concerned about where your retirement is heading? Is it on track to meet your needs and goals? Are taxes and inflation a constant worry? Well, you can join Jerry Means for What Retirement Means to You, powered by Means Financial Group, and find out how their team can help guide you to that retirement you've always dreamed of. Tune into What Retirement Means to You with Jerry Means, Saturdays at 3 on KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. More details at meansfinancialgroup.com.
Fall is here. Baseball, beautiful weather, and the changing colors of trees and shrubs. When you think of your trees, call family-owned Gamma Tree Experts. Fall is a great time to prune and fertilize your valuable trees. Our staff of certified arborists will survey your trees to determine their needs. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Call Gamma Tree Experts at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now, promo code RADIO.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Good to be back with you. Cardinal baseball coming your way today with a 2:20 first pitch from Wrigley Field. We just got off the phone with John Mozeliak for the final time, and now we hop on with Bernie Miklasz, joins us on KMOX. Good morning, Bernie.
Good morning, Tom Ackerman. I texted you the 2-3 minutes ago, said I really enjoyed the interview with John Mozeliak. So, and if I could just say this, you haven't asked a question, but can I just say this? And I was telling producer Drew Young this. So many of us, including me, so I'm putting my hand up because I'm prominent in that group because I've had a public, a public media platform. We've spent so much time sort of beating on John Mozeliak the last 2-3 years, right? And listen, a lot of mistakes were made. We don't have to rehash that. But we spend so much time beating up on the end, which was, three years in a row without making the playoffs, some things in decline, all that. Okay, granted, we've all discussed that a million times. I think we forget to remember and acknowledge and appreciate all of the great things he did when he was here, and it's really kind of unfair. And I'm gonna, I've sort of written about that. I may write about it again because his whole body of work is outstanding. No matter what anybody says, the facts speak for themselves. Yes, it didn't end well, but what about the first 15 years that came before the last 3 years? What, they don't matter? Come on.
Right. And he has, when it's all said and done, a body of work that is going to be highly regarded. Not many of these end well like you want, So he ended up not getting fired either. I mean, he ended up being able to go out kind of on his terms, which I'm sure he's pleased.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's no way for me to research this in any short time, but I would say in the modern era, I'm not talking about the 1940s, 50s, 60s, whatever. I'm talking about since maybe the start of the 1990s, mid 90s, how many guys who were either general manager, president of baseball operations, or both, survive, last 18 years. I mean, a lot of them just get run off because they screw up a lot early on or whatever. But, if Mo screwed up, which some things were, he'd be the first to tell you. That happened at the end of his tenure. But I mean, my goodness, as much as I love and revere Walt Jocketty, which I do, when John comparing their time of running things, right? John Mozeliak, he had more years than Jocketty in the job, but John Mozeliak made the playoffs at a higher percentage of rate than Walt Jocketty. They both won 2 pennants. They both won a World Series. Their teams won 6 division titles. Mo had three losing seasons in 18 years. Walt Jocketty, and again, I revere Walt Jocketty. Walt Jocketty had 4 losing seasons, one more than Mo in 13 years. And that was with Tony La Russa as the manager, right? You look at their postseason records, pretty similar. You look at the overall winning percentage when they were running the Cardinals, regular season. John Mozeliak, 541, Walt Jocketty, 535. With Mo as the president or GM, president of baseball operations, only, starting in 2008, only the Yankees and the Dodgers won more postseason games in Major League Baseball. In the NL Central, the Cardinals under Mo had 3 losing seasons. The rest of the division, those teams had 41 losing seasons. If I'll shut up after this about it. I just want to drive home the point because I really enjoyed that interview, and it got me reflecting on Mo. Here's a partial list of players John Mozeliak brought to this organization. The first 2 were as the director, the scouting director, and draft director. Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, Matt Holliday, David Freese, Lance Berkman, Carlos Beltran, Jason Hayward, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, John Lackey, Rafael Furcal. That 2011 trade that brought in Edwin Jackson, who was huge stretch, plus Octavio Dittel, Mark Sipchinski. He brought in Jake Westbrook. Again, that's a partial list. There's more. They don't win. That 2011 team and that 2013 team, John Mozeliak's fingerprints, his stamp were all over those teams. It's not like he was along for the ride. I mean, the Cardinals were dead before he made all those trades near the deadline in 2011. They were dead. And that's just, many examples. Plus his ability to work to bring that division together after all the infighting with Jeff Luhnow and the Walt Jocketty people. He healed that organization. Everyone started working on the same page. And listen, when Jocketty was fired, Tony La Russa not only lost a very, very close confidant and someone who was crucial to La Russa's success, but he lost a really great friend, right? And here comes John Mozeliak, who was, largely unproven, taking over Walt's job. And yet Mo made that relationship work. He made it work great. And one of the reasons is he understood that Tony La Russa is one of the greatest managers ever, and Tony La Russa's input should be appreciated. And it never became any kind of power struggle. It never became anything. It was Mo found a way, no matter what, no matter how many times, Tony pushed, because he pushed everybody, which is good. Mo never let it get ugly, never let himself sort of fall into the combative mode. Always found a way to calm Tony down, calm the relation down, and just keep moving forward. He did a terrific job overall in the 18 years. The body of work is outstanding, and we should remember that. And we should also realize he is a Cardinal Hall of Famer himself. And I hope Bill DeWitt Jr. and Bill DeWitt III give him that red jacket soon, because he deserves it. And people are right now, I can hear them. Oh, you're being soft on Mo. No, I'm not. I'm looking at the 18 years as an entire body of work, which is what you're supposed to do when someone who has been part of this organization for so long. You're supposed to step back and look at the entire body of work.
Bernie Miklasz is with us. He made 3 managerial hires: Mike Matheny, Mike Schilt, Ollie Marmol. All of them won division titles at some point or another. All of them ended up falling a little bit, and Ollie most recently. But I did see Ollie going out with a fight yesterday, and I wanted to wrap up with this for you. So let me set it up for fans who didn't notice. But bottom of the 8th, Cubs are up 7-3. Michael Busch hit 2 home runs, a double and a triple. The Cardinals decided they're done with all of that. They decide to intentionally walk Busch. Now, he was a single away from the cycle. The fans went absolutely bonkers at Wrigley. They hated it. Ollie kind of smirked and said, I like that response. Your thoughts on what Ollie did yesterday?
I was a little surprised that this has created, such a hullabaloo in Chicago, but also like kind of national media chiming in on it. And I don't know whether Major League Baseball has now gotten really, really soft, where, the competitive drive is there, but maybe everyone's trying to be more friendly or something. They had a chance. They had a chance to still win the game. And I remind everyone, the Cardinals had 39 comeback wins this season, maybe another one today. They were in the top 6 or 7 in comebacks all year long. It's one of the reasons why they were able to hang in there as long as they did. So this is a team known, despite its flaws, having a tremendous volume of comeback wins. It's a 7-3 game. You got a very dangerous hitter coming up. You knew you have a much better chance of getting the next guy out. So you intentionally walk them. In other words, you're going to give your team, even if the odds are against it, you're going to give your team a chance to win, as they've done so many times when they're behind late in games. And with all due respect to Michael Busch, I think it's great that he had a chance to hit for the cycle. I'm sorry, was he going for a 4 home run game? I mean, was he like about to break like a Billy Williams record or Ernie Banks record? Okay, he had a chance to hit for a cycle. Not exactly a crime against humanity by doing what's best for your team because you still thought they had a chance to win. And in the 9th inning, they loaded the bases and they did have a chance to win. So I'm confused. What is so bad or deplorable about what Ali Marmol did yesterday? In my mind, nothing is bad about it. He's fighting for his team.
I love the little bit of spice in what will simmer through the offseason in a Cards-Cubs rivalry. That's exactly what you want. Bernie, let me lay this out for people this week. And of course, we are going to hit you up for your participation in all of this, but I want to let people know we have about a minute to go. Here's what we're going to do. Tomorrow, John Mozeliak has a noon news conference at Busch Stadium. We will carry that live. I will anchor from Busch Stadium on what is the Gas House Gang. We're going to get your input certainly on Tuesday. Your regular stop for the Gas House Gang is what we're going to do is go a little earlier. So we're going to go live coverage Tuesday of Chaim Bloom's press conference at 10 a.m. And then following that, we're going to get as many people to chime in as possible. Chris Ranji, you, me, Matt Pauley will be on site at Busch Stadium. I'm certain Kevin Wheeler will be involved in some way, shape, or form, but we will analyze the Chaim Bloom news conference, which I expect to be a lengthy one. We'll carry it on KMOX. So looking forward to all that.
It's a hugely important news conference because he's got to set the tone immediately. Listen, man, I just appreciate KMOX and you for allowing me to be a part of this. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, we love you. It's great to have you on the team and in the family as always. Thanks for the time. Have a great rest of your Sunday. We'll catch up with you real soon.
You take care, Tom.
Bernie Miklasz with us on KMOX. Thanks for joining us. Cardinal baseball comes your way at 1:25.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. McKelvey is on the move with 3 new communities and prime locations opening soon. The early bird gets the worm, so get your pick of the home sites and the best prices first.